Hey guys, welcome back to Critical Flick. Today I'll be reviewing Heart of Stone, now streaming on Netflix. So this new action thriller stars Gal Gadot as Rachel Stone. She's this secret agent that's working with this kind of mysterious entity called the Charter, and they are going around trying to stop these really critical missions around the world. It feels very reminiscent of like the IMF or the Mission Impossible films. This movie in many ways is very derivative of that franchise. In fact, there's a few action set pieces and plot points that feel like they're ripped out of the recent Mission Impossible movies. Even in the beginning of the movie, we get kind of a hang glider scene that feels very reminiscent of what we saw in Dead Reckoning. The plot itself does feel like it's kind of tangentially related to Dead Reckoning. We have this all-powerful quantum computer that they're trying to stop from falling into the wrong hands so that they control all of the hacking systems, all of the computer systems in the entire world and cause mass chaos. So again, very similar to those plots that we've seen recently. I can say that those involved in this movie definitely had a rather large budget. I think the movie looks pretty good for the most part. There's a lot of use of CGI effects. Obviously, I feel as an action industry, we've kind of really grown to love practical stunts, and there are some in this movie, but the movie is so big and grand. It's like a lot of movies we've seen recently where we're globetrotting, we're jumping from places all around the world, whether it be the Alps to Lisbon to just anywhere. You're just every scene you're in a different location, which creates a really interesting kind of appeal to it. You're getting to see these cool locales and action taking place there. So it works on those levels, kind of like what we saw in The Gray Man, but it never feels like it gets any deeper than that. This movie feels very shallow. At being 2 hours long, it never feels like you're connecting with these characters, and I think it does struggle to kind of get a foothold in creating a new franchise. The performances were fine enough. I think Gal Gadot as our lead character, she's a decent action star, as we've seen in Wonder Woman and other things she's done, but she isn't given a lot to do. She's kind of just a character that shows up, we're supposed to root for, but we don't really get to build on her and have any kind of character arc, at least in this film. Jamie Dornan, who I really loved in Belfast recently, I was like, man, this guy can really act. I really want to see him do some more. He's kind of wasted in this movie. He's kind of just a throwaway character who has some twists and turns. This movie does have quite a bit of twists and turns, and it can get just a little bit convoluted, but it's not too difficult. It doesn't get too crazy with the back and forth because it does kind of try to stick to a very shallow story. It's not adding a ton of depth to it. I do think that some people can have fun with this movie if you go into it expecting kind of just a popcorn flick. You can turn your brain off for 2 hours and just enjoy some kind of ridiculous action. I think it's enjoyable from that standpoint, but to set itself apart and get to the levels of, let's say, a John Wick or a Mission Impossible, it doesn't really feel like it's doing that. So I would have loved to see maybe more thrown into this movie. Even the Extraction films, like the last one that came out recently with Chris Hemsworth, I feel like it added a little bit to elevate the story. This one doesn't really do that. I'd be interested to see if they continue with this franchise. They probably will. They always tend to give them a movie or two just to try and see if they can make something stick. So if we can grow on these characters and learn to connect with them a little bit more, it does set up a sequel at the end of the movie. I think they're counting on this being a franchise moving forward, similar to like Red Notice. So I'll be interested to see if maybe they develop these characters more and create more of a connection. Because like the Mission Impossible films, while the first few are all these, they're very good movies, it feels like it's grown as a franchise and grown throughout the years. And maybe this movie could do that potentially. It does try to interject some lightheartedness and comedy into the film. I don't know if it necessarily works all the time, but it does help break it up and make it feel like it moves pretty quickly. This movie I would never say is boring at any point in time, which is good. That's like a big cardinal sin for an action film, to be boring. So I think it does a good job of keeping you entertained and keeping you watching it. All that being said, I think I would give Heart of Stone a 5 out of 10. I feel like it's a very average action movie. It's not egregiously bad. It has a big enough budget to keep you entertained, but like I said, not really add anything more than that. So it falls right in the middle there. It's not good. It's not terrible. So let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Maybe you'll like it more than me. Maybe I'm kind of jaded by seeing so many good action movies recently that I'm kind of forced to compare them in my mind. So I would love to see what you think about it in the comments below. So again, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time.